Hey Flosstube, it's Zoe. How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a really good week. I am really excited to be here and sharing like 15 minutes with you guys to talk about cross stitch. It's Sunday, July 1st today, and we have had a good day. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon right now. We went to my parents' house today, which is about an hour south of where we live in a small town. It started out rainy, but it's really beautiful weather now, and the kids had a lot of fun playing at Grandma and Grandpa's. So now I am back. Actually, all of us are in the house, but I'm gonna get 15 minutes here to record this and just geek out on cross stitch. So let's see. I have some FFO planning that I'm doing. I have a kind of a finish, work in progress, some plans involving some haul, and then another project that I just love that I want to share that is a chart actually that I really like. So I think that's the plan today. We will start out with FFO planning. So I showed a piece last time from Country Cottage Needleworks that I had gotten framed at Stitchville, which is my LNS, and I was really happy with how it turned out. I'm very happy to pay Stitchville to do the framing rather than do it myself, and I think it's a cool way to support them. And so now I'm thinking about the next piece that I'm going to get framed, and I think the next one I'm going to do is Voyage by Satsuma Street, and I have that here. So this is a piece that I did last fall, and I love this piece. I love really everything that Satsuma Street does. I think she's just an awesome designer. And so I'm excited to get this framed, but I do have a couple questions that I'm hoping you can maybe help me out with. So the first question is, this is on black Aida, and I am not sure if I should bring in something to put behind it because I don't want a white backing behind it. I think that would make the holes in the Aida show up, which I don't really want. So I'm wondering if I should bring like a piece of black fabric in, or if they just have black foam core board to mat it on. I'm not really sure how that works. If you framed something on black fabric or dark fabric, let me know. I can ask Stitchville too. I probably will do that, but I'm just kind of curious about that. And then the other thing I need to figure out is what color frame to use for this. And I'm thinking something bright. I'll do a close-up of the stitching here. You can see it's just that characteristic bright Satsuma Street colors. I love those. So I'm thinking like a bright frame would be good that picks up one of the colors in the pattern. So we'll see. That's the plan. Wow, that probably was overexposed. It's like when I hold up this black fabric, everything goes bright on the camera. Hopefully you could see that okay. So that's going to be my next FFO. Again, I am not going to do it myself, but I will have my LNS do it. And the other reason I like to do it that way is because I don't buy a ton from my LNS. I go in there and I usually pick up like a small piece of fabric and some DMC floss, which usually isn't that much money. So I think framing with them is another good way to support them, which I want to do. So that is my FFO planning. Next is I'm going to show this as a finish because I used a cross stitch needle and some DMC embroidery floss to do it, but it's not actually cross stitch. But I'm glad that I did it, and my kid is happy. So this is a stuffed dinosaur that we gave my 3-year-old for his birthday about a month ago. He just turned 3. And within a day of getting this, he had, well, the 3 of them combined somehow. I didn't actually see it happen, but one of the legs came off like within a day of getting this. And this is a pretty well-made toy, so they were obviously wrestling or doing something with it. So I did sew on his little leg, and I can't even really, it was this one. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. You can't even really see where I sewed it on, and my cross stitch needle and DMC worked just fine. I didn't even need like a regular sewing needle, which is good because I don't know if I have one of those right now, but I do have cross stitch needles, and my son was really happy. He got up this morning and he was asking me to stitch, and I was like, oh, that's so exciting. He likes cross stitch. But then he went and got my box that I keep my stuff in, and I realized I had put this dinosaur in to remember it, and he just wanted me to fix the dinosaur. So I did that, and he was happy about that. So that's my kind of finish. Next, on to my whip, which I love. I showed this project last week. It is from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery at Spring Garden Club. This is one of my favorite projects that I've stitched, you guys. I just love it. Do you ever have those projects that you just can't get enough of, and you're like, I could just stitch on this for the rest of my life? What is your favorite project? I would love to know that. You're not going to win a prize or anything for telling me, but leave a comment. Tell me what is your favorite chart? What is your favorite project that you've made? This is definitely close to the top of my list. So last time I showed it, I stitched top down. So I had the top part down through the top of this greenhouse and the top of this tree, and I hadn't put in the word spring because I wasn't sure what color to do that. I thought that the floss that I had really was blending in with the fabric too much, so I was thinking of doing something different. So I'm actually really surprised how much progress I got in, because I really didn't stitch. So that video I think I recorded on Sunday, can't remember for sure. And then I hardly stitched at all Monday through Thursday. I work full time. I had a couple busy days at work and wasn't really in the mood to stitch when I got home. And then I was traveling for a couple days. And so I really just stitched on this Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I was really happy with the progress I made. So this is where I am now. And I've gotten all of this, the people done, which is fun, and the bottom part of the greenhouse with all the flowers in it. And I've started stitching the word spring. And I'm gonna do a close-up of this while I talk so you can see a little bit better. So this is so much fun, and I've done several of these patterns now, so I feel like I'm really getting used to how the designers do the people and just kind of a lot of the conventions of their designing, so it feels really easy to stitch on, and it's really easy to stitch on the 14 count Aida too, which has been really fun. It's not the fanciest fabric perhaps, but I love stitching on it. I just find it really enjoyable. And this is Country Blue Aida by Wichelt, and it's 14 count. So the other thing that I started was the word spring here. And last time I was saying how I thought I was going to get a different color than what was called for, because it felt like the color that was called for was, which is a Weeks Dye Works color, was really blending into the fabric. But when I saw it back on video, I realized that really there was pretty good contrast there, and you can see the word is showing up really well. So I ended up using the called for color, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. Do a little close up on the people too, because they're so cute. This is so much fun to stitch. I highly recommend this pattern, and really the whole series of these seasonal stitches. They're a lot of fun. So that is my progress. I have just the bottom part left now, which is a border of, I'll show you on the pattern here. So it's a border of just different flowers in pots, and I'm looking forward to stitching that too. I'm just looking forward to finishing this project because I've had a lot of fun doing it. Another thing that I've been enjoying lately is stitching with over-dyed threads, and in this project the word spring, this kind of turquoisey blue up here with the clouds, those are both over-dyed flosses, and then the rest is DMC, which is nice because you don't have to buy a ton of over-dyed floss to do the project, but you get some of that variegation in there, which is fun. And I had avoided doing over-dyed flosses because I like to stitch one half cross at a time and go half cross all one way and then come back all the other way in a row. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'll show you the back too. You can see how my back is just like the vertical posts. So I'm just doing half crosses in one direction all the way across the row and then half crosses in the other direction all the way across the row. And I thought that was a total no-no with over-dyed floss. I thought with over-dyed floss you had to complete each cross before going on to the next one, and it was like this big rule that everyone does, and I don't like stitching that way. So guess what? You don't have to do that. It still looks pretty even if you just do one half cross at a time and then come back, and that's what I'm doing, and I think it looks great. I can still see the variegation, and I'm really enjoying stitching that way, so I'm going to keep doing that. So that's my whip, which, as you can probably tell, as I just gushed for like the last 5 minutes about, I'm really enjoying. So let's see, what next? I have a couple things left to show, and I have like a few minutes. I think I'm good. I'm going to show a pattern next before I show my haul quick. This is a pattern that I have been just like crushing on. I just love it. This, and I'm gonna see if I can show without the glare. That's pretty good. This is Birds to the Boughs. I think that's the name. I will link to it below, from Lindy Stitches. And I think Lindy Stitches, she is such a great designer. She is on Flosstube. If you haven't seen her, she's also a really fun Flosstuber to watch. And I have really enjoyed watching her grow as a designer. Her designs are really evolving. She's getting into some more kind of sampler style stitching that has this historical feel but is still really vibrant and fresh, and I just love her designs. And this one is the favorite of mine, I think, that she's done so far. I could eat this up. It's so good. So I have a bunch of plans already for what I'm working on, and I only buy for one project at a time. So I'm not going to stitch this right now, but I love the chart so much that I want to do it as a giveaway. And so I'm coordinating that with Stephanie from Lindy Stitches. Tune back in. I'm planning to do it as a giveaway, not this week, so don't comment this week. This is just to kind of whet your appetite. But in a future week, I'm hoping to give this chart away, because although I am not stitching it right now, it's definitely going on my bucket list, and I just want to share the joy of this pattern. I think it's a great pattern. So stay tuned for that. All right, so what is my next project? That'll be the last thing I talk about here. I am wrapping up the frosted pumpkin stitchery piece, and then after that I am going to make a quilt. At least that's my plan right now. It could change, but I got this in the mail. This is from Connecting Threads. I will link to them. I got this on clearance. It was like 30 bucks for a pretty good sized quilt kit. And it's called Homeward Bound, I believe. And it came with a pattern and all of the fabric, which is awesome. I love this kind of farm theme fabric. There are sheep on it, which of course is a plus for me. And then there's a bunch of fat quarters and other things to do the pattern with. So that is my plan for my next project right now. Again, things could change, who knows, but that's what I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna do a quilt, but I'm gonna keep floss tubing and sharing charts that I like and sharing different cross stitch related stuff while I'm working on that quilt top. So that's it for today. I wanna say a big thank you to all of my viewers and commenters and subscribers. Like I said last time, I love cross stitch. I love the Flosstube community, And I am thinking about all of you guys and hoping that you are just going to have a great stitchy week coming.